something totally different. So let's get you the video that I shot when I got here on scene. Here's what we're learning now. Police confirming that a Lyft driver picked up 2 men and 1 woman some point, and at some point a man in the back seat pulled out a gun and shot that passenger sitting in the front seat. So that man and woman in the back got out, according to the report, ran across the highway and got away from the scene. That Lyft driver was able to stop, and another driver called police for help to get that man who was shot some help there and send him to the hospital in critical condition. It really was a chaotic scene as this Cleveland Avenue was
what led up to that shooting. And we have an update now to a story we first brought you last night in Union City. Police have released a photo of the man who's wanted for questioning in the shooting death of a pregnant mother. His name is Joshua Fisher. Deanna Fuller was shot and killed Monday at an apartment complex on High Point Road. Investigators say they need to speak with Fisher urgently. Developing tonight, Governor Kemp is joining the when an officer broke his wrist trying to stop one of them. The riders left briefly before coming back to taunt the officers, and that's when APD's Phoenix Air Unit took over.
Yeah, nobody's been notified, but I'm not sure if they have one of these units there.
The chopper worked with officers as riders drove off for a second time. Police in the air tracked one of the suspects on a dirt bike into Clayton County, where they made an arrest. A 21-year-old and a 20-year-old, both arrested, in fact.
Tonight, a 2-year-old is found in Rockdale County. Deputies think an argument outside an apartment complex escalated to gunfire. Fox 5's Eric Perry spoke with the family of that toddler.
I just want people to know to not take life for granted, because you never know what could happen.
With tears in her eyes, a grandmother's love is overflowing.
Since it happened, I've been here at the hospital. I have not been home. I have not been back to work or anything.
2-year-old Sin Reed was shot back on April 29th while sitting inside a Rockdale County apartment. Investigators believe the bullet came from outside the unit and could have stemmed from an argument involving a maintenance worker and someone who lived at that apartment complex. The bullet hit Sin in the head.
The right side of his head, the forehead area, it went through that side. It went in, it came right out.
Sin has spent the past few weeks in a hospital bed on a ventilator, and doctors were able to remove the tube, but then found additional swelling.
So then they had to re-intubate him. So now we don't know how long the vent will be in again after this. They said it can be hours or days.
Monica says the 2-year-old is smart, energetic, but now has heavy damage to his right side.
I stay at his bedside, I sleep there, I eat there. I even got a chance to hold him yesterday for the first time, which was great. It was awesome.
There's a GoFundMe set up to help with the mounting medical expenses as days turn into weeks. Monica said,
by himself to save a woman's life after a crash. We want to warn you, this next video is graphic.
Walter, she's trapped under the vehicle. I can't get it off. Okay.
Well, he gave it everything. That video from earlier this month in Gloucester County, Virginia. The driver's head was pinned by the sunroof, trapping her. While her family members cried out for help, Deputy Jay Holt lifted the car by himself, giving the woman enough room to get out from under. He saved her life. Authorities say Deputy Holt also saved 2 people from a burning home in March as well.
Help is on the way to pay.
And the back of his hat that he was wearing.
Deputy David Gomez's observation happened not long after a call came in for a report of a Tesla with the driver appearing to be asleep crossing over the state line. Gomez turned on his lights and sirens. It took time and miles for the car to pull over.
For about 2.2 miles, I had no reaction from the driver. How are we doing, sir? The reason I'm stopping you is I followed you for about 2 miles and you were sleeping.
The 38-year-old driver who works as a delivery driver has denied being asleep at the wheel.
I was okay. No, you were sleeping. I was a little bit tired. No, you were sleeping, sir. I was upside of you. I was looking at you and you were doing this. Your eyes were closed.
Deputies believe his vehicle was set to autopilot and say he's been accused of sleeping while driving in the past.
I was just on my way to work.
I work 7 days a week. If I was tired, I might have been a little bit tired, and I'm really honestly just not trying to lose my job.
Authorities say Tesla mandates that the operator keep their hands on the steering wheel at all times and always maintain control of the vehicle while using the autopilot feature.
So if you're doing this and you're thinking you can just go about your business and drive, no. Inattentive driving means you're not watching the road, your eyes are not on the road.
Authorities say this should serve as a wake-up call for all drivers. This time, the man involved was cited for inattentive driving.
Well,
in schools had hundreds of people lined up here at this Cherokee County auditorium more than 2 hours before a school board meeting. The district says it will prohibit critical race theory in its schools, but most meeting goers say they want the district to take things even further. At least 400 people crammed into the Cherokee County School Board auditorium or watched the meeting intently from the window. The majority of the boisterous group was there as a show of force, demanding the district to prohibit critical race theory from its schools. Critical race theory, or CRT, examines concepts like white privilege and racial equity while looking at how the country's system of laws may or may not benefit people of certain races.
My ask is for the board to eliminate the use of the language DEI-SEL. If we follow this theory, why would our children want to strive for doing their best?
The group cheered as the Cherokee superintendent made the announcement that neither CRT nor the 1619 project will be implemented. But that
House floor and see who stands with Israel and who stands with Hamas.
President Biden also pledged humanitarian assistance for the people of Gaza, partnering with the Palestinian Authority and not Hamas. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.